Hi, welcome to my channel. Welcome if you've been here before, but if you haven't, my name is Anna and I'm so happy that you clicked on this video, which is my eyeshadow statistics for 2024. I'm gonna mostly look forward to 2025 and all of the goals I want to hit this year, but I also wanted to just reflect a little bit on 2024, and I've been keeping statistics kind of. I don't have the full statistics, like I don't track all the makeup that I use every day, like these last couple of weeks where I haven't worked on my panels eyeshadows, I haven't worked on my No Pan Lift Behind, which are the two main projects I did this year. I haven't been tracking like this eye look right here. I haven't written down all the eyeshadows that I used. And also, side note, I was really trying not to match my eyeshadow to my sweater this morning because I wanted to wear this. It's one of my favorite sweaters, and also my apartment is so cold. It's insane. There's so much snow. I haven't seen this much snow in a long time, and it's a lot of fun, but it's also a bit crazy and it gets really cold. So I wanted to wear this sweater, and then I thought I'm gonna try not to do a green eye look. But then I found all of these really nice light green eyeshadows that match this sweater perfectly, and here we are. So that's that. So I love eyeshadow, and I have since I can remember. I remember getting, well, actually I remember stealing my mom's eyeshadows to begin with, and then I got this little palette. I need to show you that at some point. It's from an Italian brand called Pupa, and it were like blue eyeshadows in there, and a white kind of like cream eyeshadow, and then some like icy blues. Awful eyeshadows probably, but I loved it to pieces. So it was shaped like a bear, and then you open the sleeping bear up, and so I'm gonna pop up a picture because I know I've seen it online. It looks like this. It was amazing, and I was probably maybe only 12 at that point. And since then, I have loved eyeshadow, and that is what we are talking about today. So if you also like that, please subscribe and follow along on my... There's gonna be a lot of eyeshadow talk in the new year as well. I will never stop wearing eyeshadow, and I'm gonna tell you about how many times I did use my makeup, like I did a full face of makeup, and I always do. I don't think I've done a single makeup look without eyeshadow this year, like without any eyeshadow. Sometimes it's minimal, but most of the time I'm wearing a couple of eyeshadows. So that's that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go sit over here, and then I'm gonna have the statistics on like actual numbers over here if you like to visually see those, and I'm just gonna start talking to you about the numbers. I have no idea if this is interesting, but hopefully it is. So this year there are 365 days of the year, and I did my makeup 300, like a full face of makeup, 355 times. So that's, I know I've had a few months where I've had like 3 days, no, what am I saying? I've had several days where I've done my full face of makeup twice because of some event or something, and I'll have the numbers of like how many times I did my makeup every month over here. So yeah, I did my makeup a lot this year. And when I started off the year, I had 318 eyeshadows, and I ended up with 466. But then I did that massive declutter. If you haven't seen that one, you can watch that afterwards. And after that declutter, I actually got back down to 378, which is still a lot more than I started with, but I bought a lot of new eyeshadows this year. I bought 155 new eyeshadow palettes across, I don't know how many palettes actually, 5, 6? More than that. 155 new eyeshadows. That's a lot more than I thought. Okay, but I also decluttered 88. So that's how I ended up with the number 378. And it's actually not 378, it's actually 380. So I don't know. The numbers on the screen will be correct. It's 380 eyeshadows after my declutter. Then I had 12 eyeshadow pans. Like I had hit pan in 12 eyeshadows in the beginning of the year, which made it to a total pan percentage of 300, no, which meant I only had a pan percentage of 3.77, which is not great. And my goal was to have 10, but because I bought so many new eyeshadow palettes and I also decluttered quite a few eyeshadows that I had pan on, at least 1, 2, 3, yeah, I decluttered several that I already had pan on, 4 or 5 eyeshadows I think. I ended up hitting pan in 24, actually 25 eyeshadows this year though. 24 in my panless eyeshadows, which was a very successful project. And then I also hit pan in 1 single eyeshadow. I only have 2 single shadows and they are from Hourglass. It's the Scattered Lights eyeshadows. So 25 new eyeshadow pans, which meant after my declutter I had 37 eyeshadows with pan in them, which meant a pan percentage of 7.95. But then I decluttered both eyeshadows with and without pan in them, which meant 32. I'm going through this very quickly, I don't know why I speak so fast. I had 32 eyeshadows with pan in them after my declutter, and that is a pan percentage of 7.94. So I had a pan percentage of 7.95 before my declutter and 7.94 after, because I decluttered so many eyeshadows both with and without pan, and it just kind of evened out, which is kind of nice. But it's not 10% because I got a lot of new eyeshadows that clearly don't have pan in them. I still cannot get over the fact that I bought 155 new eyeshadows. Like, I know I bought the Pokemon palette from Colourpop, which has a lot of eyeshadows in it, and I bought not only 1, 2, 3 Natasha Denona palettes. They have a lot of eyeshadows. Another Colourpop palette. What else? The Huda Beauty Rose Quartz palette is new this year. And the Odin's Eye Christmas palette. Okay, that probably totals to 155, but that's still crazy. My goal for next year is to not let that expand so much, but I have a confession to make. There's one eyeshadow palette that I have wanted since it came out, and it was on my wish list for 2025, but it suddenly got back in stock and I just couldn't help myself. So I did purchase the Danessa Myricks Lightworks Volume 6 palette, which I'm so excited to try. I know I'm gonna love that palette, so I'm not that bummed about it, but it means I have almost 400 eyeshadows that I need to go through this year. So that will be interesting. So for my no pan left behind, I had 465 eyeshadows to go through, and I will have some kind of graphic to show you how I kind of structured the project. So in January, it was very easy to, like, every time I used a new eyeshadow, it was a check for one of my eyeshadows in this project. So I used 74 different eyeshadows that month. February was 51, March 40, April 35, and then it really went downhill. In June I only used 12 new eyeshadows that I hadn't used previously in the year, and that is because I was really focusing on especially my Huda Beauty Nude Light palette and my Too Faced Sparkling Pineapple palette that were both, I was trying to hit pan in eyeshadows in both of those, and I was traveling, so I didn't really bring a lot of new eyeshadows. Then in July, I got a little bit back on track with 29 uses. In August, I really tried to do better, and that's also mainly because I had some new eyeshadow palettes that I wanted to use because they were new and shiny and fun. So in August, I used 68 new eyeshadows, mainly new, like I just bought them eyeshadows. September 36, October 38. In November, I decided I wanted to wrap up this project so that I wouldn't have to work on it in December. So I used 55 new eyeshadows in November, and they were also mainly new, like the Natasha Denona I Need a Warm palette, my Urban Decay Naked palette that I bought again, stuff like that. So that ended up being 465 unique eyeshadows that I used this year. And the only eyeshadow I didn't use, I mentioned it in my note I left behind, was a red, which stained my skin so bad. So every other eyeshadow I did actually use. Even the bright matte purples, no, bright matte yellows that I really don't like those, let's be honest. So that's the No Pan Left Behind project that I did this year, and I'm doing it again, but I'm not gonna do monthly videos about it this year. For my project that I called the Pan Those Eyeshadows project, but it was really just me focusing on a set number of eyeshadows. I think it was 27 or something, and my goal was to hit pan in 24 eyeshadows this year. And I chose eyeshadows that had a lot of previous use, or that I really loved, or mostly that they had a lot of previous use, to be honest, because I wanted to be successful in this project. And I chose a variety of different colors. Some were easy ones, like a cream colored matte shade. Didn't really have that many inner corner shades, but I had a couple. And then some no matte browns, I don't think. But I had several greens, a purple, yeah, different things. So in January, I used these Pan Those Eyeshadows eyeshadows to, no. In January, I used these eyeshadows that I had selected 117 times. I don't know if these numbers are really that interesting, but I find it interesting to see how much this shifted throughout the year, because in February I was still doing pretty good, 80, March 91, and then in the summer I used them a little bit less. I had less eyeshadows to work with as well. So 60 in April, 70 in May, 50 in June, 50 in July as well. So that means June is the one time that, because I count each like individual use of eyeshadows, I didn't use that much eyeshadow in June. I think I might have had a lot of makeup-free days. I don't know. So 50 in June and July. August 33. That's not because I was using a lot of new eyeshadows. And then 45 in September, 25 in October, 11 in November, and then 21 uses in December to really try and hit pan in those last eyeshadows. Yes. Did I only have one eyeshadow left at the end? No, I tried. There were a few that I was using, but I didn't have hit pan in them. So 653 uses in total. And how much is that? Like, what's it called? Genomsnitt. I don't know what it's called. It's 653 divided by all of the months, 54.4 times, like different eyeshadows every month is the, oh, what is that word? I need to, like, this is me not being, I know this, but I just don't remember it. The average. Oh my god, okay. This is part of being a non-native English speaker. So in average, I used 54.4 eyeshadows in the month in my Pan Those Eyeshadows project. And then in my No Pan Left Behind, it will be a different number. 38.75. Am I doing this right? I think so. 38.745 in average each month. And if I do these in total, like the number of how am I gonna say this? I should have been a little more. I'm gonna have a sip of my coffee and think. Oh, that's cold. Okay. If I total up the number of eyeshadows in my No Pan Left Behind that I used for the first time and the Pan Those eyeshadows, I get to 1,118, which means 93 in average every month. Like dipping into an eyeshadow 93 times. I feel like that sounds correct, about 3 every day. But I know that I also have a lot of eyeshadows that I didn't use, that I didn't track because they were not in either of these projects. So I hope all of this makes sense. Got a little bit rambly around the end here because I wasn't really sure what I was doing. Math is not my strongest subject. English isn't either, to be honest, but better. And I hope you enjoyed it either way, if you made it to the end. And happy 2025. I hope I'll be as successful with my eyeshadow using eyeshadow usage this year. And I need to stop now before I say any more stupid things. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will hopefully see you again soon. Bye!